Hi, people. So the stars almost aligned. I'm speaking first, but we're missing a tile. So ham, no burger, peanut butter, no jelly. So close. So close. But that's okay. Anyhow, welcome to another fun day of Athletics LLC. Uh, Shenanigans have already started, so it's gonna be a good one. Um, but nonetheless, Clyde, how are you today, sir?
Um, my petty crown will arrive before the end of the show, but I ain't gonna lie, when you said the stars almost aligned, I thought you were taking shots already.
Oh,
Oh my.
no. No. Oh, Governor, how are you today, sir?
Just basking in the glory in Sedona, Arizona. We're competing in Northern Arizona in 2 days, so made the trek from
Ooh,
Phoenix, and it's been pretty nice. It's really quiet. I can understand why people,
higher
uh,
there.
yes, because it's just peaceful. It's just you
Oh,
know, it's really really cool. So first time for me. So
nice.
I'm gonna try and enjoy it. At some point, I might get over to see the Grand Canyon and say I've been there. And then
Don't fall
Must
in the
do that.
crack.
No, you must do that.
was that?
You have to do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you.
yeah, it is, especially if you're that close.
Yeah.
But don't hike because the air is gone. They stole that.
All right. So go see it, take a picture,
Yeah,
and then all right.
peace out. Yeah, no, it's my I think one of my first handful of collegiate meets was at NAU and
Mhm.
literally just running down the runway. I was like, yo, it's not gonna happen. I can't do it. Anyhow, Lamarco Polo, how are you tonight, sir?
Whew. I've done my push-ups and my sit-ups and my cardio. I am prepared for what is going to be it's going to be quite a show. There's so many shots that are going to be thrown and taken in this particular episode that I would warn those who watch the show regularly: pause, go make popcorn, and then bring it back. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Amen,
All
amen.
right. So then let's just knock this one out of the park real quick. Track is back. Oh man, is it back?
Absolutely.
I- Is
So
is it just me, or is the first track is back segment of every year always your favorite?
it is because it starts to spin the wheel a little bit, and then you just the lid just keeps coming more and more and more because you know it's going to get better, but you
Hmm.
just don't know how much better it's going to get and how drastically fast it's going to happen.
Well, this is a time where, you know, far too early, like, well, wow, this kid seems to be in tip-top shape now. Like, could
Right?
he or
How does it
she
get better than that?
possibly? Yeah, right. We've seen a bunch of athletes come near their PBs right out of the gate. Coaches are taking care of business. It's exciting. It's absolutely exciting. This is what you live for, right? So, um, but what specifically has stood out to
But
to
if I may,
hmm
um, I would like to speak on some West Coast things that I was privy to witness in live in person.
Okay.
Possibly the most impressive thing I saw live last weekend was Mr. Justin Braun of USC,
Mm,
who
mhm.
somebody at some point told me was a 400-meter runner.
Right.
But
Liars.
I'm gonna tell you, when you watch him high step a season opener at 6.55, I
Mhm.
think all calculations might be revisited quite soon. That dude, if you've never seen him run in person, he's just a monster. And um, the first weekend is always obviously a little low key for most people, but USC has things moving in a very interesting direction, and that might be the best of their weapons. And how they're going to use him as the season progresses, who knows? But if someone wants to debate me that boy can't win the 60-meter dash indoors, you're lying, because he absolutely can. It was beautiful. And that was obviously out at Spokane. And then, it's not often that we ourselves, I mean, Sir Lucius aside, because the GOAT and everything, get to shout out his own people. But I am very excited about our men's sprint hurdle crew and what they have going on right now. We opened the season with 4 lifetime bests, 2 7.7s and 1 7.8 by a freshman, a sophomore, and a senior. All of whom are top 25 in the nation sitting right now. And so that was a lot of fun to watch, and it's cool to see work at that level coming out so early. So I had a lot of fun in Spokane this weekend, and as usual, Spokane puts on a very good show. So that's the report from the West that I got.
Well, the thing that stood out to me is the fact that after week 1, we have 6 athletes under 660 already.
Oh no, the 60 is disrespectful.
It is absolutely disrespectful right now. Faber Ash won 100th off his PB. Winning at the Harvey Glance Tide and Tigers duel. DeAndre Swift from Texas Tech, Sean Brown from Texas Tech, Justin Braun, Kalen Walker from Iowa, and Marcellus Moore from Texas.
Mhm.
I mean, Texas Tech has 3 guys under 660. That is
Great.
really, really good. Really, really good.
3 of the top 8.
3 of the top 8. Absolutely. Robert Gregory coming out the gate with 2047.
It was smooth.
Christening
Useful, useful as we would call it.
brand new Texas A&M track. I think, the jury is out that is a useful facility as well. Everybody that will be competing there, or everybody that has been paying attention, wanting to know how that facility stacks up to the old one. Obviously Pat did his homework and and put together a nice facility, the warm-up area notwithstanding, which it seems like that'll be coming in 2025. So, but what is probably the most, I wouldn't say a shocking, alarming, or whatever. I don't know this kid's name, but the JUCO kid that ran 2029.
Uh, uh, is it the one from New Mexico, JC?
Yeah.
Yeah, New Mexico was on fire this week.
Yeah, the
What
Zimbabwean.
what a way to say hello world.
Mhm.
And as with, and I know I'm keeping on the men's side and all of that. We're going to have to wait and see from the 400-meter side standpoint, seeing that most schools kind of let kids grow into it. You run a couple relays to start off, and then we put together the collective when we get later in the season. But just like every other season before it, week 1 always presents its fair share of fireworks. Illinois women's jumps has
Yeah.
pretty much said Hey, we're right here. Hello. Darja Sapova transferring from Texas, opening up with 13:59, leading the country. I think he has 3 female long jumpers over 6:30.
Mhm.
3 of the top
Um,
6 in the
3 of the
nation.
top 6. Yes. So once again, Petros is putting his stamp on the jumps. In the sprints, did we not see an appearance by Grace Stark?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was a streak of just blue. It just went like that. That's what it was. I was like,
That's what
oh,
it was.
there it goes.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited about, what's to come. And very impressive results early on, but it's going to get better. We know it will.
Hmm. And there's just gonna be more of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're gonna get faster, longer, farther, higher, but they're gonna be more of them too. You're just like, what the,
Mm-hmm.
what the? So his, I'm gonna call it American name because I know that's what our guys say. Is Carly Makarawu.
Okay.
Makarawu.
Makarabu. Okay.
Yeah. So, but on the website it's Tapa Wanashi. Tapi Wanashi. So, but Carly is what he was stated as by his coach.
What are our thoughts on Shanti Jackson opening up with 52? Did you get a chance to see that?
I was waiting on Lamar to
Yeah,
jump
go.
in here before I circled back.
I thought I had to wait till it was my turn. I wasn't trying to blow up the spot. I was just letting y'all. I mean, listen.
Go ahead, man.
I want to say this for the record. I need everybody to understand. Like, yes, I'm a baseball guy, and let's not get it twisted. That's my job. But this is how much I love track. We went to Arkansas for my post collegiate decks to compete. We stayed all the way through the meet, through the 4x4, then proceeded to get in an electric car and stop 6 times on the way home. I got home at 7:30 in the morning. I did not sleep. I laid down for 30 minutes and then I got back in the car and drove the whole family down to College Station so they could see Uncle Mouse. So at the end of the day, that day was 48 hours long, but it was worth it. As you guys like to say, I was in the building for Arkansas's best sprinters debut at 52:10 in the 400. Sure, because that's what we do. Coach Johnson has not changed at all becoming head coach because the A team ran 3:28, the B team ran 3:30 right behind them. That absolutely happened.
Yeah.
I will say before I get into a few more, specific things that I saw at the meets, you picked out the 60, and obviously I was the first one to throw that in there. Like Texas Tech managed to qualify 3 guys that we know for sure are going to go to the national meet in the 60 in the first week, and let's call it 4 because their best guy only ran 6:63, but he's run 6:45.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
so they got 4 in the final, in the group of 16. More than likely,
They have a quarter of the field.
They have a quarter of the field. And there's not anything anybody can do about that, to be completely frank. I mean, last year was the all-time low at 6:59, and it certainly isn't going to take anything less than that.
No.
And they got, if you put Terrence where he belongs, they got 4 under 6:59 already. So there's that. But what I found equally shocking when I kind of scrolled through Tifers on Sunday, like waiting for the football games, was that 218, which always gets into the meet in the high jump, is already tied for 10th.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is all week 1. There were 10 people that jumped 218 or higher. And I want to say this for those who weren't in the building. It doesn't matter what you saw Mr. Beckford's marks be. This is what I need you to know. He almost made 221, and all jumps were taken from 5 steps.
There's
Okay.
film. You can see.
And if I'm being honest, it's 4, right?
Right. It's like a little skip stepping.
Yeah, it's 5 steps, but there's 4 steps in earnest. There's 1 in a direction and then 4 ba 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 ba. But at the end of the day, it is clear he is preparing to jump 230 plus. He's not concerned with qualifying for the national meet. But I mean, that event is going to be outrageous this year, clearly. And yeah, the women's long jump is also going to be completely outrageous this year. I'd be willing to bet that Florida again has 2 young ladies over 680 when it's all said and done. Let me just say there were 2 fouls that were absolutely monstrous by the Bahamian Nightmare, as I have decided to call her, because she's going to do crazy things, I think. But yeah, it was a look. What has happened for some ungodly reason is folks don't ease into the season anymore, right? Like we are getting to mid-season form faster and faster.
Yep.
Right, faster and faster, and you know, and I think there are some coaches who have decided to like, you're ready, we're gonna go let you fly, and then we're gonna go back and train for a little bit. Like I think there's more coaches that are taking that tact as opposed to, you know, we'll bring you along. Like, look, listen, as long as the coach knows what he or she is doing, I'm here for all of it, because that just means we get shenanigans every week.
Now there you go. You put my word in there. Overall, the weekend, I just saw shenanigans. And I mean that in the most positive way possible. It was more like trendy shenanigans. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a few. In the women's weight throw, Ole Miss is up to their usual shenanigans. We're going to roll out. We're going to take the top 2 marks in the country. We're going to go sit down. There's more to come. It was already aforementioned. Illinois, a.k.a. Petros, and Jump U, Florida, off to their normal shenanigans. 6 of the top 8 marks in the country from those 2 universities. But there are also new shenanigans that I think people should really pay attention to. I'm going to tell y'all right now. Alan Johnson and Terrence Trammell have the best men's hurdle crew in the country. They have 4 dudes already primed to qualify for NCAAs, and I got news, there's probably a 5th on their way.
Go Allen.
So, you know, you expect Arkansas to do what they do and have shenanigans afoot in the women's 400 meters. But that's just kind of what the weekend felt like. Like, hey, it's the ultimate. We hear it every cycle. It's the Olympic year. Crazy train is already off and running. And there are so many events, if you just look at the top 10 in the nation right now, that are already stupid. And it's just going to be that way this year. The men's high jump might be the worst of it, or aka the best of it. You know what I mean? But it's going to be like that. And so buckle up and prepare yourselves.
So growing off of these remarkable marks that we're talking about, and we know there's more to come, of these facilities that are producing these marks. Let's play Legos. Let's put the stadium, the arena together. What are we picking up first?
Okay.
What are we and where are we? Not necessarily where on the track, but like, I mean, it could be part of that too, right? Because, you know, we talked about it off camera about how at A&M horizontal jumps coaching it sucks.
Yep.
Because you have to go over the river and through the woods.
Well, now don't
You
give
know?
away the game. Now, don't give away the game.
Okay,
I just
so
want to
go.
make sure. I just want to make sure I'm understanding the game. If we're piecing it together,
Right.
So the straightaway of place X
Yep.
jump
with the
runways of
oval
A,
of, yeah.
Yep.
the oval of whatever, the warm-up area
The
of
warm-up
whatever,
area.
and the stand
Exactly.
and the
Placement,
seating.
placement too,
Yep.
you
Sure.
know.
Yeah, sure.
So
Just
what I think would be fun is
Okay.
if we each, like, we go around and we pick a thing. So
Okay.
like Kareem takes runways, you know, I take
oh no,
oval, whatever it
no,
is.
because no, because we finna argue. We can go one element at a time.
Okay.
We go one element. We gonna argue on this. I feel like.
Now,
right, well-
now understand also that none of us, well, I have not been to all these.
Sure. So you got to pick what you know.
Exactly. Right.
There you go. Nah, I'm here for it.
And that's the
I've
caveat.
been everywhere except Spokane.
All right. So here we go, right?
I'm here for it.
So you can pick from what you've seen and what you've heard and what you've, okay?
Yeah.
I like
So
that.
what element shall we start with?
I think we should
Ovals.
start with ovals.
Start with the oval.
Okay. All right. And Chewy has to play, right?
Chewy has to play.
You know what? Let's let the lady go first.
Yes.
Pick your oval, Chewy.
Which oval are you picking?
I'm picking indoor ovals. I gotta go with Tech.
Okay.
Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Any reason in particular why, or you just throwing it out?
No, the way you come off the bank, you gotta go.
The descent.
Yeah, and if you don't go, then you just get eaten up alive. And so it just produces so much. And even if it's just the start of the race and you're going into your 2 turns, it just sets up for so much drama.
Mm,
So it's I love watching it.
okay.
Nope.
I'll go next.
I was gonna say anybody. No. I was gonna say somebody got to have a rebuttal to this, right?
Oh, I have a rebuttal. I was just waiting. Like this, I love this game for the record. Matter of fact, I was gonna break this out later when we got to football. But I'm gonna put my petty crown on now because I am here for this
I
game.
love this. All right, Governor, what you got? What do you think for the ovals?
I'll take the Texas Tech oval and I will raise you Arkansas's oval. And I mean, the reason why, I mean, we've only seen the fastest collegiate 200 on that oval. Am I right? Am I wrong?
You are
Yes.
correct.
And obviously, I mean, the way that it's set up as well, it is fraught with peril. If you are not prepared coming off that final bend, you will crash and burn. It is very, very aggressive. So, you know, the squeamish, it's not for the squeamish, not at all. But as we know, the 200 for what it is, indoors, it is a very, very aggressive race. So if you are ready to go out like a bat out of hell and keep going, that is a place for you.
I will see your wonderful Arkansas oval, and I will raise you the Clemson oval.
See,
and here is why.
Okay.
The Clemson oval has done nothing but produce ridiculous times, regardless of the bodies that have been on it. The Clemson oval is the reason that the school record indoors at Campbell is like 2030 something. Right. But more importantly, the Clemson oval has never had an SEC championship, has never hosted USAs, and doesn't have the Tyson Invitational. But the Clemson oval's records at the 2 and the 4 are quite comparable,
yes,
to the stadium records at
Arkansas.
At Tyson. And we haven't got the straightaway, so I'm not gonna say nothing about the straightaway. but I'll say this: for for the ovals, and I think we are all speed and power people, so I think we're only talking about the ovals as it pertains to speed events. Like,
Yeah.
but I think from the 800 down, I feel like you can run the fastest there at sea level,
Okay.
because that's why I will trump. I will trump New Mexico and Trump Tech, because you can run the same fast without altitude at Clemson.
At Clemson. What say
All
you?
all quality answers. And I will give LaMarco Polo the lead at the moment, because not only was his answer the closest to being correct, but his explanation was spot on. And I agree with everything he said. Now, the honorable mention that I was going to throw in there, because it deserves one, is New Mexico, the new
Right.
New Mexico,
Yep.
host of the NCAAs last year. But yes, the altitude element disqualifies it from being number one in this conversation. However, for almost the exact same arguments, the best oval in the country remains Boston University, aka the launch pad. And I'm going to tell you why. Much like LaMarco Polo said, we all have witnessed, first of all, in the distance running community, that is where everybody goes.
Right.
However, it don't look good. It's not sexy. It's not none of those, right?
Yeah.
You could almost call it ugly. But understand this. I have witnessed lame athletes drop massive PRs in the 200, the 400 on that track. And heaven forbid if the Southeast or the West ever got bored enough to travel there. I can only imagine
What would happen?
sprint records would be. Don't get it twisted. It ain't called the launch pad for nothing. I had a young lady back in the day run a 2.5 PR from lane 2 on the launch pad. I'm telling you, it's ugly. It ain't sexy, but I will take the BU oval over all the new shenanigans.
Wow.
So first off, these are all going into my remarkable, and we will be noting this and ongoing. We will do this for outdoor as well.
We cover all events on
right?
this side, man. All
Oh
right
yeah.
there.
So what, I don't know if anybody's paid attention. You had to have talked to the respective schools, but what they did this year is, for the Scarlet and White with BU, Harvard matched it up with a Friday meet, and then you have BU on Saturday. And so they worked hand in hand. They definitely worked hand in hand on their entry fees, because good God, you're going to walk away with a lot of money. Love you, Gabe, but Jesus criminy. But yeah, no,
baby. There's a price for premium times at BU.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Right. But they knew what they were doing, just like San Francisco State and Stanford. You got the two meets dueling, you know what I mean? And then the combo of SoCal. Anyways, I digress, but there's a reason why, and they capitalized on it, right? Because they know that their runways and their straightaways are kind of duds at BU. So Mark and Cabo are like, we'll just come over to Harvard and boom, bang. So.
Oh, wow.
Smart people do smart things.
I mean,
on to the next. What do we got next?
Okay,
Oval
so
is over.
Oval's oval. So let's go to the opposite end. Let's go to the straightaway.
Now, the straightaway, I'll probably give to Clemson. Straightaway, I'll give to Clemson. And I'll just kind of leave it there. I can't exactly explain why. I've been in the building.
Yeah.
But that thing moves. And again, I would say the exact same thing about New Mexico, but I will disqualify it because of the altitude issue. So, but the Clemson straightaway is wicked fast. The BU straightaway is track.
For my money, the only other straightaway that we should even be considering would be the one at the Crossplex.
Oh, God.
Right? Like what I'm saying is like this has to be some sort of like vote
I was
between the
sitting on that
Crossplex
one.
and Clemson for the straightaway, right? And it's for the same reason. Hey, we have some Mondo Super X. We're going to put it on concrete and some glue. All right,
Yes.
Bob's your uncle. Let's go.
But there's also one other factor that you're missing, LaMarco. What do they do when they run the 60? They put the track down.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So there is zero fare for the 60 hurdles, and there's zero fare for the 60. You can run 75 meters and be okay. So you put the nation's best on that track, and they have, so you're not worried about that tricky first step going from horizontal to the slant. Thank you, LaMarco. I hate you, but thank you.
It was an alley-oop for you.
No, so let me say again, in honorable mention category for that exact same issue, the Spokane straightaway is very, very fast. And the facility is a hydraulic bank. You lower it and you can just haul ass to the pad.
Okay. So, LaMarco, your answer was?
He took Clemson.
I took Clemson, but my whole argument was the argument you made. The only one I would consider, like, okay, I have to send Christian Coleman somewhere to break the world record in the 60 or I die, right? Yeah. I'm only sending, and it has to be at altitude. It can't be at altitude, right? I'm sending him one of those two places.
All right. So that's why, like, yeah. So I was sitting on Birmingham this whole time, and purely because, again, Mondo Super X on the ground, and you don't have to deal with an upswing once you cross the finish line. I mean, we've seen so many athletes pull up 2 meters, 3 meters, 4 meters, before the finish line because they're anticipating going up. That has killed many, many, many people in terms of time. Birmingham eliminates that. I'm going with Birmingham.
Got it.
Dewey.
Definitely Birmingham. That's, I mean, geez, like that's undoubtedly. There's a track that's sticking out in my head and I can see it, but I can't place where I'm at in the building. And I don't know why. And it's not like I've been like 1,002 places. Yeah, it's all kind of vague. So maybe it'll come to me, but
the girl trip. What
I know. I don't know
what's
why.
next?
All right. So now let's go. Let's be kind. Let's be kind. Let's go to the rings.
So are we talking about the setup, the throwing area setup? What's conducive for fans? What's conducive for throws?
I mean, whatever your reasoning is, it is.
Yeah, the location. It has to be the location.
So mine will be, and I'm going to go with New Mexico. I will go with New Mexico simply because it seems like that's a whole other stadium. They have all the room in the world. You can have both events going at the same time, and nobody's stepping on each other's toes. And I don't throw altitude into the mix for that. You still have to push the ball. You still have to twirl the ball. You still have to throw it. But in terms of fan enjoyment, in terms of space, in terms of, I mean, we've seen how many records set at that venue. I'm going to go with New Mexico for my throwing. If I'm putting my throwing area together, that's it.
I feel like we're not going to argue on this one.
Can anyone come with a better one?
It's not better.
Okay.
If you could put a concrete ring in Arkansas when they do the championship meet, it would be better, but it's a wood ring.
Right.
But because it's in the stadium and in the oval, everyone can see it. But there's no question that if I'm a fan and I want to go see the throws, I'm going to go to New Mexico
Yeah.
because you can see everything and there's not a gigantic net and
Yeah.
you're safe and it's,
Yeah.
you know, and you're right by the snack bar.
True.
Snack bar moved. It's on the opposite side of the oval now, but that's okay. We had to work a little to get the calories in. So kind of similar to what Marco said in regards to if you can get a concrete ring. At EIU, Eastern Illinois, they actually have, I
Really?
don't think it's concrete, but it, I don't know if it was really smooth plywood. I don't know what it was. I don't remember at this point. But where they had it, it was inside the oval, but there was enough room so that you actually had people and it was
So
visible.
was it an oversized track or was it a 200-meter track?
It's a flat, is it a flat 200? A flat 300? Wow, I'll look it up. But yeah, Eastern Illinois, that setup. It was
Yeah.
inside. It was nice. It was intimate. It was fun. It was fun. So
Okay.
but I'll look up the size of the oval because I don't remember. But that oval, good gosh, is harder than hard. Ugh. Ugh. Like, ugh. Ugh, ugh. Like my shins
right.
hurt just thinking about it. All right, so now we've gone to the rings. Let's go to the horizontal runways because they are different from the vertical runway. The horizontal runway.
Oh, good.
I'm
LaMarco.
sorry.
Huh?
I'm sorry. And I'm just gonna save you all some time here.
He's going to say the New Mexico.
You damn right. And it ain't close.
But
But here's the
ain't
issue.
close.
man, altitude.
But here's the issue.
No. We don't care about altitude in the jumps, baby.
No.
They don't even adjust.
It's too short of a runway.
Whatever.
I'm going to say this.
Whatever.
Listen, we are all experienced track coaches, and we don't let anybody run around with, you know, I'm a sub 10-second sprinter because I ran under 10 one time, right?
Right.
Okay, so New Mexico's runways performed out of their minds this last year. They've had a couple other small, and remember, this is the new, right? So they didn't even get credit for the old.
Which were the best in the country? The old.
No, they weren't. Arkansas's runways are the best. And if you look at the amount of marks that they have been produced there, it's not really that close, but they're also constructed slightly differently.
Mm-hmm.
They're the only ones that are reinforced in the triple jump landing areas.
Yep.
They are literally made to jump far.
Yep.
In both the long and the triple. And again, you don't get any altitude, nothing. And I understand you don't get dinged for altitude in the jumps, but again,
so there you
I
go.
would pick Arkansas until I see the New Mexico over a 3 or 4 year span. Oh, trust me, they opened up hot.
And it shall stay.
When the stadium records by a collegian are 7 meters and 15, I mean, yeah.
And for New Mexico, it's not just the bounce; it's fast. It's crazy fast, and everybody can't handle that. But if you can,
I would dare say it's too fast for at least 50 to 60% of the people that have attempted to jump there. Like last year, I mean, it's one of those things as a coach, you know, if it's an early season meet, if it's anytime in January and you're coming off a break and all of that, and you're going to get on that runway, whoo, good luck. Good luck. But if you're ready to go in March, you're going to fly. No question. So mine is a little different. And this is an oldie but goodie. But I absolutely love this runway. I love the way it's, and here's another thing that we need to put in there. setup. Okay? 3 together, 2 on one side and 1 on the other. How do we like the setup? My setup is the Armory. Absolutely love the fact you have pole vault on one side. They have their own show over there. Horizontals on the other side. You're not like having to scream over 2 runways to get to the runway on the middle of the track. My setup, if I'm putting it together, I'm going with the Armory.
I can't speak to the setup, but that was very old school nostalgic of you to bring that green mound of a dirt hill. It is the Armory jump
But
runway.
the men's collegiate record is set there.
Exactly.
Sure.
Thank you,
Cool.
DeMarco. Thank you.
Cool.
So,
I hear you.
You know, the men's collegiate record was set there, and I get what he's saying about setup.
No, I understand the setup, boy.
It would be a beautiful thing if either New Mexico or Arkansas had the pole vault runway on the other side.
Exactly. Thank you.
It would be amazing,
Yes.
but they don't.
But that's where you just
If
finagle
you want the
into
oval
middle.
right, I don't think you can do it. And the
It's-
Armory
yeah.
oval ain't right.
Right.
Yeah. It's a paperclip.
And it never will be. They'd have to take out everything to make that oval right. So Big League, do you have yours?
For horizontals,
Horizontals.
for pure setup, I like Youngstown State.
Should
It's
we
just
pulling
a-
all the randoms out her ass?
Hey, she's pulling it from.
I like
I'm
it.
trying,
She's going
Because-
to middle America. She's saying,
Right.
folks,
Right.
exactly.
recognize.
Mhm.
Okay. These
So,
folks had a lot of time on their hands, and they did it right. Okay.
because they're outside the oval,
Go Penguins.
yeah, right. They are side by side. Yes, side by side, and then dueling as well. They're flat as all get out,
Yeah.
but you can tell that they train on it because they've got the last 2 years, 3 years, they've had a male long jumper pop one off. So not to say the coaching's not doing anything, but like, when you go to something that's springier and you can handle it, the result's the result. So I like the setup of Youngstown State. The actual jumping area, I agree with Albuquerque, obviously. I don't know that one stands out more to me than that. For the level that I was at the time, the IU runways were nice to us. So for what it was nice.
Let's get to the most petty one.
Well, hold on.
Oh no, wait. I'm sorry. We got stands first. We got stands.
Not to throw shots. I do want to say that the 2 places that have been, I guess, disappointing, but the 2 places that have not produced marks that I would have expected would be Clemson, since everything else around it is fast. Right. It's like how we used to always feel about A&M. You go there and everybody runs fast, but the jumps aren't going to be good.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. But so that definitely fits in that category. And then Tech.
I was just going to say, how did I not say Tech?
Right. Like you would expect people to jump off this planet at Tech.
Stupid far. And I can tell you,
but they don't really.
I can tell you why. I think it's a little too loose. I think the like when you push into the ground, if you are at track level, you can see sand doing this, like while the person's running down the track. That's a little too much. So you're literally throwing off an athlete's gait. You're throwing off stride length. Like you would literally have to adjust, either train on that track all the time or get there and make that adjustment like immediately.
Well, I'll say this too, in regards to that, Um, the 1B of that is the setup. It's so congested, you almost are
Mhm.
scared to move.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've had, you know, in the heptathlon, you know, I had a young lady up and you could see her eyes like separating because
Yeah.
there were just things moving on each side. And I'm like, yo, I'm like sand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Very true. All right.
all
So
right.
it stands before we get to the petty one.
Okay. No, there's two because you got a vertical, I mean, a pole vault runway and a high jump apron.
Y'all getting real technical. Go ahead.
But
All
it's
right.
serious.
All right. Well, then there's 4 left then.
Well,
Okay, so
okay. All right.
Because we
let's
have
do the
2 sets of
stands.
verticals. We have 2 sets of verticals, stands, and then the petty one.
All right, I'll go. I'll go first in the stands, and I'll say this:
Okay.
no one's gonna beat what Pat has created.
There it is. There it is.
For once, there is an indoor facility that someone who only cared about track
Mm-hmm.
invented.
Right.
And I'll tell you why it'll never happen, right? The seating for the teams is diagonal and higher off of each corner, like it is outdoors in Eugene,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you can stick the teams where they're sequestered and close to the warm-up areas and don't have to fight through all the people to go warm up.
Mm-hmm.
But the kids and the coaches and the families who are of those teams who sit in those seats, they have really good seats.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the rest of it is Taj Mahalic as it pertains to seating for a track meet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
It's artistic.
Arkansas is great, but Arkansas was great for when it was built. What I'm saying is Texas A&M was built for a 2024 show.
Yeah.
There's not a bad seat in the facility.
And I haven't been in the building yet, but from what I've seen from the plans and what I've seen from pictures and videos, it's very
There's nothing like it.
very artistically done, and it is unique in this country. It's beautiful.
And for $11, you can get a seat back.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. True.
Don't ask about the concession stands.
Hey,
Concessions are horrible there.
Really?
that is not on the list. We are not adding concessions
No,
to
we're
this.
not. We're not doing that.
In regards to stands, I do like, and it's mainly because we go to Big 12s all the time. I like when Tech has championship setups there. They have a second set of erectors on the backside. Otherwise, for the sake of keeping people away, think of it.
Chew, if you pull something out of the hills of Virginia or something, we're done.
It's gonna be, and I can't think of where it is. Move on. I'll come back. Oh, dang.
Well, I agree that it's Texas A&M. Honorable mention, second place is actually
But
Spokane.
we're talking about tracks we've been to.
Sure, but honorable mention number 2 is Spokane.
Okay.
Spokane is a beautiful, beautiful seating setup. It's only on one side, but that's okay. There's levels to it. Access in and out is very, very nice. There's a whole mezzanine level. It's great. Beautiful setup.
Okay. I'm gonna get a little nostalgic here. And and again, I'm just going off of
Your age.
there are two that and Lamarco is going to smile when I say this. But Minnesota's indoor facility. I mean, you just have to see it. You just have to see it. It's in an old airport hangar. The other one that is absolutely beautiful, and I mean, like you just is Illinois. Like if Illinois had a banked track in there, oh my goodness. So if you understand where I'm going with this, like I love the old school feel. I mean, I understand that Pat has built his version of the cathedral, is what he's done, right? And there's nothing that will
Mhm.
probably be able to replicate it because this is a dedication to indoor track, period. But I get real nostalgic when it comes to like, you know, what I've felt at indoor tracks. Um, you know, I think it's a shame that today's athletes have never felt what it felt like to compete in the Hoosier Dome.
Yeah.
I mean, LaMarco, come on now. That was, I mean, people are not. You walked in that stadium and it was like, I have no choice. I have no choice. I have to come with it.
The 2 years that the USA meet was in the Georgia
Oh,
Dome, same thing.
oh my gosh. And there's no way, you know, and when of course we're not talking about uh, a track that's there all the time. But in terms of so I'm gonna so if I'm gonna pick, I'm gonna pick Minnesota.
Um, so I finally remembered. And it's with their stands as well. Nebraska.
Really?
I like Nebraska stands.
I've just never been there.
They're equipped to hold people. It sets you off just a bit, kind of
Mhm.
like Albuquerque. Like
Yeah,
there's that walkway in between.
yeah,
But you don't feel compressed. In Albuquerque, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, you're right there.
yeah,
Like it
yeah.
doesn't feel that way. I didn't feel that way anyways. Um, Now I don't remember that, and I'm going to assume because we don't ever talk about it, that their straightaway doesn't produce anything, but for the same reason of the bank track, the hydraulic track,
Mhm.
there was a sense of ease to the straightaway. I'm
Yeah,
not saying that produced any fast times, but just the simple fact of the ability to straighten it out, and you can tell people were not afraid to run.
yeah.
So
Okay, man,
interesting.
I know we're trying to be respectful of time, and there's no way you're going to take my petty time away from the next subject. So can we get to the petty part of this subject, please? I
Do
have my
it.
crown on.
All right,
Do
let's
it.
do it.
We're gonna end on this one because we are
We're
taking
gonna,
long. So I
yeah,
apologize. We're talking a lot.
Warm up area,
warm up area.
and
Oh,
I feel like I can pull one that the panel has not thought about.
okay.
Warm up area is the hardest thing to do right. Even in the elite facilities, it is shit in most places. The best indoor setup for warm-ups in this country is the JDL Fast Track in North Carolina.
I've never
They
been.
have 8 lanes
Yep.
the whole way down outside
Really?
the oval. Yes, it's
Okay.
incredible. Now, you don't want to go there for anything else, but you will be warmed up and ready to run on the
Yeah.
200-meter bank.
So
JDL Fast Track. Oh, 200-meter flat. I'm sorry. On the 200-meter flat.
I'm going to give probably my most adamant answer of all the answers we give on this subject. I'm going to give my most adamant answer on this one. I don't think you can do it better than Texas Tech, and here's why I say that. You have the most space at the
Yep.
old Texas A&M, right? But
Yep.
there's a gigantic wall, so if you're inside, you can't see your people warming up. But at Texas Tech, because the wall moves,
Yep.
you can be coaching your people
Uh-huh.
and be like, is so-and-so warming up? And turn right around and look
Mhm.
straight back there and find out whether so-and-so is doing what they're supposed to do. And it's on a gigantic football field. And at the end of the day, it's the only place that's like that. And I personally, as somebody who's who's been a head coach coaching the kind of events that you can't leave,
Yeah.
right? Like, I understand how important it is to be able to see if your people are warming up.
Right.
And for me, as adamantly as I can say this, Texas Tech is where I would take my people to compete, because I know there's enough space for them to warm up without running into each other and running into other teams. And I can see that it's happening.
Yeah.
But it is on a turf football field.
It's
So-
warm up.
And to your point, LaMarco, and to Clyde's point, I will take Birmingham all day, every day. And Clyde mentioned they had 8 lanes. Birmingham has what, 6 maybe?
Or
4? Is it 4? Okay. All that being said,
at the time, it was elite. When they
Yeah.
built it, it was elite.
yeah. Now, again, based on what I've seen, based on what I've experienced, RIP to the Texas A&M track and all the engineering that went into putting the Mondo on top of the boards. You know, they tried taping it down to the AstroTurf. They tried everything. And obviously, I mean, they did what they could. What I love about Birmingham is that there is no difference in the surface that you're warming up on
Well, that's true.
opposed to what you actually race on.
That's true.
And that counts for a lot. Okay? You cannot replicate, you know, when you're talking about putting forces into the ground, if you're on a board, if you're on rubber on boards on grass, sorry, it's just not the same. It's not the same feeling. So here you are, you're setting up all these angles and you're doing all these things on a surface that's softer, that's giving. And then you go on the rock hard surface, it's different. It's different. At Birmingham, like I've borne witness to some really epic warm-up situations. You're closed in, it's intense. They're
Oh, it's bad.
sweating. If you put your hand on the walls are wet. I love that. That is the environment when you talk about getting your athletes ready to go to battle. I want that. I want you to be able to look around and you're rubbing shoulders, and the next thing you know, you're in your blocks and the person you're trying to beat his ass is right next to you. I love it.
So quick caveat to that point. Spokane makes me mad because they basically replicated the Birmingham warm-up, only they have enough space for 4 more lanes and they just didn't put them in.
Are you
So
serious?
there's a walkway, you run this direction, and then there's a equally spaced walkway that you could walk back. I'm like, we could have just got 4 more lanes and we're good.
Exactly.
So Spokane is comparable, but to your point about Birmingham and their 4 lanes and the tightness of it, when I was at RU and we had indoor nationals there, I had 4 girls in the hurdle final. There's 8 lanes. There's 4 lanes.
I know where
There's
you're
4
going.
lanes. So, you know, hurdle people, everybody's back there, and I'm like, hey, look, check this out. We have half the field. These 2 lanes are ours. Y'all work it out.
Oh God.
And that's what we did. It was great.
The hurdle Nazis. That
That's
is
right.
the place
That's
where
right.
you see them come out.
It gets ugly in
They're
Birmingham.
there at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Just
That's right.
standing, hand on hurdle, hand on hip.
Oh gosh.
Before we jump to the next piece, I'll say this without question, and nobody can debate me on this one. The 2 worst warm-up situations ever for world-class people. World Championships indoors in Serbia. The building was 40 meters long. I'm gonna say that again. Okay.
Yeah.
The building was 40 meters long, and there were 17 hurdles in the building.
Oh no.
They had the women's hurdles and the men's heptathlon hurdles back-to-back events on the schedule. Okay, so that's one, and 2, and nobody will argue with this one with me. The Armory.
Oh boy.
You warm up. You
Let's not
warm
go
up
there.
downstairs right outside the bathroom. So you have high school kids running wide open on Mondo, and you're trying to come out of the bathroom.
Exactly.
Hey, I will throw two more in there. You're right. It's not worse than the Armory, but Birmingham 2017 in the UK warm up was awful. Oh my God, it was awful. I don't know if it was 40 meters, but it wasn't much longer.
Right.
It was people's lives were on the line. And then the old New Mexico setup
Oh my
in
God.
the room
Yes.
with the 2 lanes. I've seen so many people about to die in that room.
Oh gosh.
Oh yes, we are evolving on the warm-up space. But yes, listen. Old New Mexico was treacherous.
It was awful, man. It was really bad.
All right. We'll come back to this. We'll pick this up later, maybe mid-season, to see what adjustments and additions we'll take to it. But for the sake of time, I am going to move on to a new subject. I'm skipping to the last topic, gentlemen, just so you know. So
Okay.
I'm reading this verbatim because there are a lot of words in this one, but please listen. Of all the things that you've ever taught someone, what is the most difficult thing or skill to teach in track and field?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
You are not
We're gonna-
tabling.
I was gonna say,
You are
we're
not
gonna move
tabling the
subject.
NFL playoffs.
I am. Who cares?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No chance.
You cannot stay the governor.
I tried hard. I
Listen,
tried hard. I tried
You can
so
talk
hard.
about the coaching,
Governor-
whatever. I
Governor
promise
was
you,
with
I'm
me.
going to rant about the NFL playoffs.
Look, I had the governor on my side.
Listen,
I was going to
this
get
ain't-
away with
listen,
it.
Chewy,
Damn
we
it.
love you. Have a seat. This ain't even about the governor. Let me tell you, Governor, I apologize.
Oh my.
Because as we have said in the past, you are not one of those people. You may be a Cowboys fan, and we feel bad for you. If I had a paper bag to hand you right now, I would hand it to you. But when I tell you, I have never more thoroughly enjoyed myself at home watching a football game than I did this weekend watching the utter collapse of the ultimate frauds, the Dallas Cowboys.
First time in my life I enjoyed losing money.
As I have tried via text, Facebook Messenger, the internet, Twitter, X, and on the phone, as I've tried to say all year, the Cowboys are frauds. They are frauds at every level. Their coaches are frauds, and oh my God, was that on full display. Anybody considering hiring the DC for a new head job after he failed the first, you might want to reconsider all that.
Oh, he'll have a job within a week.
Yes,
Oh, he can have, hey, that's fine. And it will be fraudulent again. All we heard all year, the defense is elite, maybe the best in the NFL, definitely top 5 frauds. You have puny people playing linebacker. You play nickel and dime all game. And when real teams come in the building, they just push you around as they did during the season. The coaching is fraudulent.
Oh boy.
The owner is a hype man. He may as well be Flavor Flav. And the quarterback is a fraud. He is a stat padding, fake MVP, ass tighter than anything you can think of in the playoffs. Fraud. And you could see it in their face. They were scared to death. I do not want to hear from Cowboy fans or pseudo Cowboy fans next season. You can't talk to me until April of 2025. I want to hear nothing because it's the same thing every year. Now, the rest of the games were actually pretty awesome, but frauds. Bigger frauds than Miami. Bigger frauds.
I'm gonna go, Governor, just to give you a chance to recover before you, so you can speak on the rest of the games, because I know you're not going to talk about that game. The only thing I'll say about the the Cowgirls is anybody who knows football had a sneaking suspicion that this was coming.
Yeah.
But let me explain for 1 second how much more fraudulent they are than people realize. The owner's ego is so big that he refuses to admit that he is wrong. And let me give you a just off the presses, because I live in Texas. Mike McCarthy is coming back.
Of course he is.
And I just need people to understand, if anybody that represents the Star deserved to be fired after that game, it's the guy that looks like a Milwaukee cop.
He should have been fired at halftime.
Was awful. They played nickel or dime in all but 6 snaps in the football game. They got the ball run down their throat the whole first half and refused to make any changes. So we're done. We're not going to talk about the Cowboys until they play games that matter. No regular season games matter unless you're talking about positioning for, and it doesn't matter what position they're in. They were the 2 seed, and they shouldn't have been that. That was fraudulent, but they were the 2 seed and lost at home. So it just doesn't matter, right? Like every stat I put out there about the Cowboys is just going to be disrespectful. Like, for instance, that the Packers now have more playoff wins in AT&T Stadium than the Cowboys do.
Yes.
Like, how wild is that?
Yes, they
right?
do.
Like that's a fact, right? So anyway, we're not going to beat that game up. I'll say this: the rest of the games, listen, the Lions are for real for where they are in their developmental stage.
Yes, they are.
The Packers are for real and 2 years ahead of their developmental stage. Their developmental stage. Both those teams will probably bow out this weekend because this is above their player grade, right? The Packers might be that good, but they are that young. They're the youngest team to make the playoffs in 46 years, and that's going to be exposed, and that's what happens.
And they're the youngest team in the league.
But they're the youngest team in the league by like 4 or 5 years on average per player.
Yes.
Like they, what they're doing is shouldn't happen. And listen, at the end of the day, Jordan Love has made the greatest midseason turnaround of any football player ever. Because he was average and probably not the guy after 8 weeks. And the last 9 weeks, statistically, he was the best quarterback in the NFL. As far as the remainder of the games go, listen, Josh Allen is really talented. The Bills are also really fraudulent, and that's going to get exposed at home.
Don't you?
I'm saying it. Listen, I'm saying it now, and that way I won't have to say it again next week. I said this before. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs were people catching footballs away from being the best team in the NFL, and we're almost there. Look, we got a running back, and we got a wide receiver that can catch the football, and we got a great tight end that will catch the football.
Who was dropping the football?
I said that will catch the football, but at the end of the day, here is what nobody can argue: they have the best defense remaining in the playoffs. That includes the Niners, and the Niners defense is really good. The Chiefs have, because it ain't even just statistical. You can't do that. You can't do that because they look, they're elite at all 3 levels.
We gonna see.
Yeah, we are. But I'll say this: look, what I love is people. The Bills had a 6% chance to make the playoffs when they were 6-6. Right. So they've been playing playoff football for 2 months.
Yep.
Right. They are. Listen, that's the toughest out that's remaining. I'll be the first person to say that. I think the only team I would pick to beat them at home is the Chiefs, if I'm going to be honest. Right? They're the toughest out that's remaining. But look, if I'm a fan of the NFL, which I am, I just like where the league is. Right? Like, I mean, there's 4 African-American quarterbacks that are left in the tournament, and Baker Mayfield. So depending on how you feel about him, me and another person on this panel have had conversations and arguments about Baker Mayfield. Again, he continues to prove me right. Like, look, he's not 1-1 gonna be a Hall of Famer, but that guy's a really good quarterback. He is a really good quarterback, and you can win things with him because he makes plays, he makes smart decisions, and he doesn't throw the ball away. And that at the end of the
In
day,
Tampa.
look, that's where he plays, right? Like
Yeah.
you only get to. I mean, listen. If I told you Tyrod Taylor was the answer for the Giants 4 years ago, you'd been like, "That's stupid to say." I don't think anybody would argue with me now. Tyrod Taylor's the best quarterback on the Giants by a long shot. So at the end of the day, like, right, look, I mean, let's look at Geno. Same thing, right? When Geno played for the Giants and the Jets, he was terrible. He's good playing for Seattle. So like, there's something to be said for learning things, right? And as I said to you before about Baker, and I'm gonna shut up and let y'all talk about it. I mean, Baker's been in the league for 6 years and has had 8 head coaches. That is a problem for anybody that plays a cerebral position, because you've had 8 head coaches and 7 offensive coordinators in 6 years.
And most of that is his fault. But
And you keep saying that. He has a career QBR of 89. So that what you're saying is just not true. But anyway, I'm gonna let y'all get after it because this weekend was awesome. You okay, Governor?
no, wait, but wait. Well, I mean, we need to give, KST his moment here. But before we get off of this, we got to pick the games again.
Oh God. Okay.
It's not you, sir. It's not you.
Man. So did you see Jerry Jones's comment on why he's keeping Mike McCarthy?
I actually did not.
He
Please let me know.
He said, we all share this loss, not just Mike McCarthy.
That's interesting. I
So
don't know what that means.
what are you saying?
Right.
It's the Cowboys faithful. It's their fault. Why we played 6 DBs in 49 out of 54 plays, while you got gashed the entire first half. Playoff football is about making adjustments. Like, it's not hard to see. Stack the box, stop the run, make Jordan Love beat you. It's that simple. If he beats you, he beats you. Hey, kudos to you. But now you put yourself in a situation where you don't know if he's going to run or if he's going to pass. So what did we see? We saw 3 plays where tight ends from Green Bay looked like Tyreek Hill.
Just wide open.
Wide open place.
No one near him.
That does not happen in playoff football. I'm sorry. It does not happen. So yeah,
for the record, the tight end for the Packers was the most open human being in the NFL this year.
Yes.
Football Focus.
He was lit, but yeah, Football Focus had that. He had the defenders, the closest defender, the furthest from him of any play in the NFL this year.
That's right.
So now on another note, and this has not been talked about, the Eagles go to the Super Bowl in 23.
Yeah.
And they can't win a playoff game in 24?
So
and you start off the season 10-1?
So I have a theory on that, and I don't remember which pundit or talking head threw this out there, but I 100% agree with it. Sirianni might be a fraud too, and the evidence of that is you lost both coordinators from last year's run, and the further away the coordinators got, the worse the team got.
Yep.
The Eagles are pathetic. The Eagles are pathetic. But see, even coming off of the Super Bowl appearance and loss, we're not half as hyped as the Cowboys.
No.
So the Eagles falling off the cliff is just sad. And respectfully, I admit that Baker Mayfield's had a good season in Tampa. But I'm not giving him a lot of credit for beating the Eagles in the playoffs. Let's see what he looks like against the Lions. A real team.
Now, on another note, the future is bright, folks. Jordan loves CJ Stroud.
Yes.
What they did, I mean, I don't care what you say. Yes, open or not. How many times have we seen Dak miss that throw? Sorry. Okay. All right.
All right. Let's let
Um,
Chewy start with the picks because we got to get the picks off. Got to
All
get
right.
the picks.
First set of games, or not first in any particular order, the words I'm reading. Texans and the Ravens.
Who's the
Ravens.
pick?
What's the No, I'm calling it and you guys are gonna say it and I'm gonna go last.
She tapping out. Okay.
Texans versus the Ravens.
Ravens.
It's a Texas game, so the Texas folk need to pick first.
I got
Um,
Ravens win.
Ravens.
Ravens.
So you're all on the Ravens. Listen, the
Don't
Ravens is
nobody trust anybody in Houston.
listen, the Ravens is that's very funny. The Ravens is the smart money choice. I am rooting for the Ravens because I like Lamar Jackson and I like Harbaugh. But man, listen, Lamar Jackson ain't necessarily proved himself in the playoffs either. They done took 2 weeks off for real. And there's something about D'Amico Ryans and the Texans, man. You know what? I'm going with Houston. I'm gonna go with Houston.
Oof.
Wow.
Oof.
Really, really quick, I just want to say this. D'Amico Ryans is the reason that the Raiders had better hire Antonio Pierce.
Sure.
Because that's what leadership looks like. And all you have to do is go back and remember what these guys were like as players and talk to anybody that was in the locker room with them. They are still leaders of men.
Yeah. And the reason McCarthy should be fired. But
Stop.
keep him there. Keep him there.
Niners. Niners. Speaking of literally, Green Bay versus San Francisco. You already know where I'm going.
Sure. I'll say this about that game. The whatever you call it, the betting line in that game is wildly disrespectful. The Niners are like +10. That's wild. I think that game's going to be really close, actually. But 49. Yeah.
Again, as I said, the Packers are a year and a half, 2 years away from being the fully operational Death Star. They're not there yet, and they're going to get bullied in this game. Yeah. Because you got it, yeah, all of that. They're going to play the Niners and lose. And the game and the score is probably going to be greater than 10 because at the end it's going to go like this, right? like the last 2/3 of the fourth quarter is going to be like a pick six, a fumble recovery. Like it's going to get piled on at the end.
I can see that.
I mean, just the mere fact that the 49ers have had a chance to sit back and laugh at the game film and watch the pure comedy and sit there, and the coach is probably sitting there at the screen going, so what should we do in this situation?
Ain't nobody going to be 17 yards open, I'll tell you that.
What did we keep seeing? I mean, you have 6 DBs on the field and they're playing off and you're playing zone and you're mind-boggling. That will not happen against the Niners. The Niners are going to play bully ball to the Packers. I think it's not going to be close. And I think just like LaMarco said, it's going to go off the cliff by the end of the third quarter. And the line is going to be bigger than 9. It's 9 now.
Yeah, the poor Love is gonna be running around like a chicken with his head cut off. He's gonna escape the pass rush that has been relentless all game. He's gonna get loose and he's gonna get hit by the best linebacking crew in the entire game, and the safety that I think still would like decapitate somebody. So yeah, that's not gonna go good.
All right, game number 3, Bucks versus the Lions.
Ooh. Oh man.
Baker getting blown out.
Say it again.
Baker's getting blown out. Lions by double digits.
The fact that this game is not actually in Detroit, it's actually indoors. And that was, did you see that clip where they
Oh
asked,
yeah, Jesus, yeah. That was fired. Another person that should be fired.
how are you preparing to go play a team indoors? Hilarious. Hilarious. That line is Detroit 6.5. I'm gonna say Detroit wins, but I think they win by like 3. I think it's gonna be closer than you think.
I think the Lions are going to win, and they're going to win by 2 or 3 because they can't blow anybody out. They may be win. I mean, remember they were just blowing this game out. They don't know how to. Again, this is what I'm talking about them being. They're still not there yet, right? They're a better team than the Bucks, but the Bucks have a lot of veterans, and they're not going to go down soft. No. I just think that the Lions. Look, if the game was in Tampa, I'd probably pick Tampa.
Exactly.
But the game is in Detroit, and I think Laporta is almost healthy now. So I'm going to pick the Lions, but I think that's 3 points.
I think the Lions also, but I have no points to it because I don't care.
She was ready. She's waiting for the divisional round. She all in on one side.
Absolutely.
All right, last one, Chu.
Last one is Chiefs versus the Bills.
They have Buffalo at -3.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
Last I heard, the Bills are literally completely depleted in their backfield. Am I correct? Like 5 starters out, something like that, something crazy like that.
This is true.
That team is not going to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Sorry, they're just not. And I don't care what cape Josh Allen puts on. He's not going to beat. Like, what it does is it creates a situation where they will just dedicate somebody to just watch Josh Allen and come after him. I mean, anytime he decides to go run, I just feel like this is the one game where if you're a betting person, go ahead and bet that the Chiefs win this game. Period.
Chewy, who you got?
Chiefs.
All right. I'm going to let LaMarco have the last word on this one. You said it correctly, the cape. If you watch football, all you got to do is go back and look at the last 5 matchups that these teams have played. Some are in the regular season, some are in the playoffs. The Chiefs ain't stopped Josh Allen in 2 to 3 years. They've won the games in KC, but they ain't never stopped Josh Allen from doing whatever the hell he felt like doing. I don't imagine why this time would be any different. And I'm very, very intrigued to finally have to watch Patty Mahomes, the best quarterback in the NFL, go on the road in the playoffs and show us what he has. He's never had to do it. This will be the first time. I'm here for it. I will tell you right now. The Chiefs have the better quarterback. Chiefs have the better coach. Buffalo going to find a way to win that game. And I'll back with my petty crown to officially put a nail in the coffin of the fake dynasty that is the Chiefs. It doesn't exist. It hasn't existed. And it's not about to exist now.
That's funny.
Okay. All right.
Well, you know,
I got my one petty off this week. I got this one. This is the next one.
What I always love is that, you know, Clyde is the gift that we'll always keep giving, which is just so wonderful for me. I'll just say this. I'm not even going to get emotional. In playoff football, having the best things matter.
Yep.
The Chiefs have the best coach. The
Yep.
Chiefs have the best quarterback. The Chiefs have the best defense. The Chiefs have the most healthy roster. I mean, let's be clear. The Bills don't know who's punting the football because their punter blew out his hamstring last week trying to chase down a guy that he wasn't going to tackle anyway.
All true.
So at the end of the day, literally this game is a blowout if it's anywhere but Buffalo. Like literally to me, the game is not close if it's anywhere but Buffalo. But let's be clear, Josh Allen is going to put on a cape. But what is different in this game, other than the fact that it's in Buffalo, is the Chiefs have a real defense.
Mm-hmm.
They've never had a defense inside the top 20 when they've played the Bills. They had the old school Colts defense. Our defense will give up 30 because our quarterback puts up 35. They don't do that anymore. And so at the end of the day, this is going to come down to decision making. And I love Josh Allen and I love his athleticism and I love his ability to make plays. He also is going to turn the ball over at least once in this game. That is a fact. And it may be twice because that has happened also.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, I just don't think that there's enough healthy Bills. Like, I think this is going to be a war. It's not necessarily going to be a shootout. And I don't know that the Bills have enough healthy players to survive a war. It's going to be a good game. You know, I think the line's probably relatively close. It is disrespectful to have a playoff game where you're at home and you're not favored, but I think the injuries play a role in that. And best quarterback, best coach is a pretty tough combo to beat. So I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I'm picking the Chiefs.
Where there you have it.
Wait, who's the Cowboy? Oh, they're not playing. My bad. They're not playing. My mistake.
Goodness gracious. Governor, you could punch him through the screen if you'd like.
No, it's not aimed at the governor. I love the governor. The governor is not one of these people that comes at the start of the year and says, "This is our year." He doesn't do that. He doesn't do
Cancun
that.
on 3.
Matter of fact, the LaMarco Polo and Lucius were higher on the Cowboys throughout this year than the governor was. So
Agreed.
I'm very upset that Lucius is not here to see me wear this crown and tell him, I told you they were frauds.
That's hilarious. All right. Well, with that, I think we gave you enough shots of, I don't know, whatever that was this last hour and a half. So, but without further ado, that will be it for the show tonight. If you're traveling this weekend, going somewhere, competing, have fun, do good stuff, come back and report it to us. But other than that, everyone have a safe weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, y'all.